Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. First of all, welcome to the live stream. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to it. Make sure to like the live stream. And if you're not following me over Discord, if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘍𝗶𝗵𝗵, this is my Twitter handle. I occasionally share market updates and calls also over my Twitter account for free. And if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, analysis, everything, you can always join the Discord server, 𝗨𝗃𝗄𝗏 Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video, and join the Discord server, and we may have a special discount for you guys, right? So please make sure to join the Discord server. And if you're just joining the live stream, make sure to like the live stream and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Uh, First of all, we are going to start with the market update, and then if you guys may have any questions, any queries, any chart requests, you can simply just drop in the chat box. By the way, we have three positions in fact open right now. The first one is on ENA. This is a short position that we have. The entry for ENA short is 0.3150. DCA is around 0.3319. You can enter into this short position. The markets just opened 8 minutes ago. The US market, this is going to be a really important market open. And we have one short position opened on ENA. We just opened it like an hour ago. Then we have the second position, which is a long position open on SCR. This is a long position. You can see that this was basically a breakout trade. Price was breaking above the resistance level. This one is exactly at the entry. So if you have not entered into this long position, you can just do it right now, because SCR, you can open a long position at the market price, because SCR, it is at the entry point. This is the entry point for SCR. It can go at least up to this resistance level, up to 0.40, which is almost like 11% away, sorry, 17% away. So it has every possible chance of going at least up to 0.40. So if you have not entered into this position, you can do that, because it is right at the entry point. This is a long position for SCR. The third position we have is for BAT. That position is slightly below the entry price. If you have not entered into that position also, you can do that. It's a long position. This is a long position. We are still waiting for the breakout. The position is still open. It's slightly below the entry point, almost like 1% below the entry point. You can do that. We are still waiting for this breakout above the trend line. But the altcoin market, it's not looking absolutely good. We're going to talk about that shortly. But the altcoin market, it's not looking super good, right? That's why it's going to be a very important live stream. And the market open also is really important in my opinion. The long positions, they're slightly risky. You can see that the equity market, it's already down a little bit. The crypto market, it's already going down. We are breaking below a trend line, which I'll be talking about later on. But yeah, this is going to be a very important live stream, so please make sure to watch it till the end, right? Going to be a very important one. Before I start with the market update, what exactly is happening in the market right now? Let's take a quick look at the economic calendar for the rest of the week. This is going to be a highly volatile week, obviously, because we have lots of important economic data, lots of important economic news events coming in. We have data about we had the GDP numbers released just a few hours ago. We had GDP numbers released just a few hours ago. The GDP numbers, they were negative. We had a negative GDP print at -0.3% for the first time since 2022, right? The expectation was for 0.2%. The forecast was for 0.2%, positive 0.2%. It's a big miss, obviously. The previous number for the last quarter, for the fourth quarter of 2024, it was at 2.4%, positive 2.4%. So this is definitely a big miss. So in the first quarter of 2025, the GDP numbers are showing that the growth in the overall economy, it has slowed down a lot. From 2.4%, we are to negative 0.3%. which means that technically we could be entering, or the US economy could be entering into a period of recession, technically speaking. Because if you look at the technical definition of recession, if you have a negative GDP print consecutively for two quarters, then this is what most of the economic analysts would refer to as recession. And I'm telling you that the markets are definitely going to react to it. The markets just opened right now. You can already see that markets are already reacting to it. And just a few minutes ago, I shared the update in my market updates channel in the Discord server also, that there is a possibility that we may go down from here and at least go down to 92,563. There is a possibility that we would at least go down to this region right here. The reason being that we have this trend line, but we'll be talking about all of this later on. But in terms of economy, things are definitely not looking good. We are starting to see the impact of the tariffs being placed on different countries. We are starting to see the impact of it, which is now showing in the form of numbers. The data for the first quarter of 2025 GDP numbers, it's showing that the growth has slowed down a lot. It's actually a big miss, because the forecast was for 0.2% positive, and now the number is negative 0.3%. And just like I explained to you, if we have the negative growth consecutively for two quarters, then this is what the most analysts would refer to as a recession. And recession is something that has not been priced in by the markets, even with all of these things happening with tariffs and everything. Recession is something that has not been priced in by the market, so it's going to impact the market a lot. If anything of that sort happens, the next 3 months, they're going to be really important. 2-3 months are going to be really important, because this would define if US economy is going into recession or not. Technically speaking, we are entering into a period of recession. The economy narrowly escaped it back during the COVID days, but now the economy could once again be entering into a period of recession. The consumer spending data is also showing a drastic decrease. First time after the 1990 recession, the consumer confidence has also gone down a lot. The consumer spending confidence has also gone down a lot. First time since 1990 recession. So yeah, a lot many things are definitely happening right now. Alpin is asking, are we streaming? Yes, we are streaming. I hope you guys can hear the audio and everything. I hope it's clear. Okay, so another important thing is in terms of how the US president has been reacting to all of this. uh, Trump made a speech just yesterday in celebrations of uh, in celebration of his first 100 days, and in that he once again criticized federal bank's chairman, Jerome Powell. He said that he is intentionally not doing that. He's a slow man. He is a lazy man. He is in comparison to the rest of the world, in comparison to the Europe, in comparison, the European Central Bank has cut the interest rates already 7 times, but for some reason, US is not doing that. And then he went on to say that because he is not allowed to criticize Powell, because he's not allowed to criticize Powell, so he would not do that, although he made the criticism already. But then he said that he is not allowed to do that. That's why he would refrain from doing so. But at the same time, he said that he knows economy, interest rates, and everything better than Jerome Powell, better than anyone else who is working in a responsible position. So that was the response from President Trump. I can go into the details of that. He has said a lot many things. There has been a lot of uncertainty. One thing that you should know about the markets is that they absolutely hate uncertainty. It's not just about the equity market, it's about the rest of the markets also. Markets absolutely hate uncertainty. This is what we are seeing in the earning reports of with a lot of these big companies also. And by the way, it's going to be an important day, because soon after the market closes, soon after the market closes today, we have Meta and Microsoft releasing their earning reports for the first quarter, right? So it's definitely going to be an interesting day. But coming back to what Trump has been saying, he has been constantly criticizing Powell. He actually did that almost last week as well. During the last week's live stream, we had a discussion on this in detail, in which I mentioned his remarks and everything. And then, he went on to say that it did not directly mention this, but there were signs from his government that they're looking at possible options to constitutionally remove Powell before his term completes in May 2026, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, his term is going to complete in May of 2026. So they were looking at constitutional options to remove Powell, but obviously they cannot do it constitutionally. But then, soon after that, Trump went on to say that this has all been made up by media. He has no intention of doing that. But, Powell should definitely, be lowering the interest rates. But they are not looking at any of these options to constitutionally remove him or anything like that. Last night also, during his speech in celebration of his first 100 days, I don't know what exactly is there to celebrate, because we are literally tired of winning. This is what he said. Soon after I assume this position, you're going to say that, Mr. President, we are tired of winning. So we are definitely tired of winning. The markets, they're definitely not looking good right now. There has been a lot of uncertainty in the stock market as well, in the crypto market as well. But yeah, anyways, during his speech last night also, he once again criticized Powell, once again saying that he knows economy, interest rates, and everything better than anyone working in the responsible positions, right? Then he signed an executive order also. But just to, for those of you who have no idea about this, we still have 145% tariffs placed on China. China has 125% tariffs placed on the US. And apart from that, we have a pause for the 90 days. Trump administration has been constantly saying that they would be able to negotiate a deal with most of these countries, because initially the tariffs were placed up to 50%, but now there has been a pause for 90 days, and now the universal tariffs are placed. Except for China, the universal tariff number is at 10% by the US, right? But the if you look at the statements from White House, if you look at the statements from the Treasury Secretary, they have been constantly saying that they would be able to reach a deal with China, and with the other parts of the world as well, with the rest of the countries as well, before this 90-day period ends. But if you look at all of these different economic analysts, they agree over this thing that no matter how hard you try, no matter how urgency you show in this matter, it's not going to be possible to reach a trade deal in the next 60 days or in the next 50 days. And that's definitely not going to happen till the end of this year, which basically shows you that the reason I'm explaining all of these things is that the GDP numbers that we saw today, the negative GDP print that we saw today, was for the first quarter of 2025. And we did not take into consideration whatever happened in the month of April. During the month of April, Trump placed universal tariffs on all of these countries. There was a lot of drama. The tariffs were placed on China as well. The Canada Mexico drama happened during the first quarter, but all of these other things, they happened basically in the second quarter. So if we take all of that into consideration, then it's quite possible that we are going to see we are going to see the negative print for the 2 consecutive months. And just like explained to you, that as per the definition from different economic analysts, if you see a negative GDP print consecutively for 2 months, then this is what exactly you refer to as a recession, right? This is a benchmark for recession. If you look at the statements from Trump administration, they have constantly been downplaying this. They have constantly been creating uncertainty. In my personal opinion, I don't know if they're doing this intentionally or not, because if you look at the statements from Trump, he literally said that he had a call with the Chinese President Xi. He made this statement, I guess, 2-3 days ago. And then when press asked the same question from Treasury Secretary, from the rest of the people in his administration, they denied that. They did not give any explanation for that. And then Trump once again went on to say, this was because when this question was asked from the Chinese administration also, they said that they did not have any kind of call. President Trump did not have any kind of call with the Chinese president, and he should avoid misguiding his people. He should avoid misguiding the rest of the world. This was a statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry. When the same question was asked from the Trump administration, they said that they are not going to answer this. So they're clearly reluctant to answer even, the statement that if they had a call with Chinese president or not, or even if they are negotiating or not, because as per China, they are constantly saying that they are in no rush to make a trade deal with the US. Okay. And if you look at the statements from Trump, every single day he says that China knows that these tariffs, this rate of tariffs at 145% is simply not sustainable for a longer run, and sooner or later they are going to come to the to the negotiation table, and they are going to reach a trade deal. If you look at the statements, from the rest of these people in the Trump administration, they're constantly saying the same thing. But if you look at the statements from Chinese administration, they're saying that they are in no rush to make a deal with the US, and they don't have any kind of negotiations taking place at the back, through the backdoor channels. But once again, there has been a lot of uncertainty going in the markets right now, because at this point we don't even know if both the parties are actually in talks with each other or not, right? This is very important to explain, because once the equity markets start reacting to this news, obviously the crypto market is going to follow. And this is what you are seeing in the market right now as well. We just had the market open almost 22 minutes ago. The equity market, it has started to go down. It's already down 2%. It's breaking below this higher time. It's breaking below this higher time frame support, which should have not happened. By the way, we should have stayed above this level because it's a very strong level, but we are already down 2%. 2% is a very big number in the equity market, right? So we are down 2% on ES. And in the Bitcoin, with Bitcoin also, in the crypto market also, you can see that we have this huge candle soon as the market opened, which is not looking good. The reason is very obvious. First time after 2022, we have a negative print, negative GDP print at minus 0.3% in comparison to the forecast for 0.2%. And the important part is that back in 2024, during the last quarter of 2024, the growth number was at 2.4%. And just before starting the stream, somebody shared a post with me, and I don't know if it was a post from Trump on Truth social media or on Twitter, but that post was basically saying, it was a statement from Trump saying that this stock market that we are seeing today is not because of his actions, because but he actually inherited all these market conditions. So he's basically saying that I am not someone who is supposed to take the blame. The blame should be put on the Biden administration. He said that this is Biden's stock market, this is not Trump's stock market. Traditionally, we have seen this happen in the past, that whenever the stock market would react positively, Trump would always take the credits for it. But now he's simply just disowning the entire stock market, saying that he took oath after 20th of January. So he inherited all of these market conditions, he inherited all this uncertainty and everything. And whatever you are seeing happen in the market right now is not because of him or his actions. It is basically because of Biden administration. I don't know for how long exactly they are going to continue blaming the Biden administration, the previous administration. But so far they are simply just not only creating an uncertainty in the market, with their actions, with their statements, but at the same time, they are not, I don't really think that they have been able to provide a clear plan of action. Because at this point, one party is saying that they are not negotiating, and the second party is saying that they're actually negotiating. Just imagine the president of the most powerful country on the earth saying that he had a call uh, with the president of the second most powerful country in the world. The markets actually reacted to it positively, but then the other party saying that they did not have any kind of call. Even the Trump administration has been denying that. Even the Trump administration has been reluctant to say if President Trump had a call with President Xi to discuss any of these things. But so far, there has been a lot of uncertainty in the equity market, and the results of it you are definitely going to see in the stock market also, in the crypto market also. One thing, once again, is for sure that recession is something which is not priced in. But if actually we see recession in this administration, then the markets are going to react negatively, and that's going to be a big negative reaction. But let's just keep aside all of these things. We always have talked about how the technicals are more important in comparison to the fundamentals. So, we need to focus only on the charts and need not to focus on the fundamentals, or, all of these economic news events and everything. But yes, we would definitely talk about it every now and then. If we look at the chart for Bitcoin, the first thing you would notice is this trend line. If you would watch this live stream from the very first minute, I already explained this thing that if this is a trend line, that price would eventually break below the trend line. And this is something that I updated in my Discord server. Also, by the way, if you're joining this live stream for the very first time, if you're joining the channel for the very first time, please make sure to subscribe to it. Please make sure to like the live stream. And if you're not in the Discord server, the link you can find in the description of this video. You have to join the Discord server in order to receive all of these market updates and everything. I shared this trend line, I shared this visual, in the Discord server, clearly explaining that, there is a possibility that we will be breaking below this trend line. And we know this thing. If you have been watching some of my previous live streams also, you would know this thing that if there is an upward forming trend line, then price would eventually break below the trend line, and that's going to be a very impulsive break below. This is what exactly we are seeing happen in the crypto market right now on the Bitcoin chart, that we had a massive break below the trend line. Price just had this impulsive break below the trend line, and the trend line entry model says that price would eventually fall back into some higher time frame support. The higher time frame support right now is at 92.5k. I just mentioned this in my market update post as well, that there is a possibility that price may go down to 92.5k. This is exactly what we're seeing happen right now, right? uh, Same is the case with Bitcoin dominance also. If you guys would go and watch my post on, I guess I did post this about this on Twitter as well. Yeah, I actually posted about this on my Twitter account as well, that while others.d is struggling at resistance, Bitcoin dominance not only sitting comfortably above the 4-hour support. This is a 4-hour support for Bitcoin dominance. By the way, altcoins, they're going to face a large blow right now. The altcoins, they're going to face a big blow right now. ENA is already down. We did a good thing. As soon as I saw the negative GDP numbers, I quickly went on to open a short position, because I knew that something bad is about to happen once the market opens up. We already have two long positions open. One is on SCR, one is on BAT. So I had to just de-risk this position with one short position. This is what exactly I did. I went on to open this short position on ENA, because the market had to react negatively to it. But anyways, I mentioned this about Bitcoin dominance also, that Bitcoin dominance has a similar kind of trend line, a downward forming trend line on the Bitcoin dominance chart. And there is a possibility, every possibility, that price would eventually break above. And this is what exactly I'm trying to say, that if you're not in the Discord server, you need to join it, because all of these market updates, they are shared regularly in the Discord server, and you should become a part of it in order to receive all of these market updates in time. We are seeing a double blow to the altcoins, because not only Bitcoin is going down, the price on the Bitcoin chart is going down, but at the same time Bitcoin dominance has also been going up, right? Which means a double blow to the altcoin. We'll be talking about that part later on, but first of all, let's talk about the Bitcoin chart. We have a break below trend line. That's a very impulsive break below the trend line. We have the same belief about the trend line. Whenever there is an upward forming trend line, price would eventually break very impulsively below the trend line, and below the trend line, and then it would eventually fall back into some higher time frame support. This is what exactly we are seeing happen. And then you have 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and the 4-hour quarterly VWAP, which are catching up with the price, which means that once price drops back down to this level, there is a high likelihood that we are going to see some kind of bounce happen at this point, right? At this level, which is 92.5k, which is 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and the 4-hour quarterly VWAP. Let's take a look at the USDT dominance chart also, because this is a chart that we are always usually focused at. You would find a similar kind of trend line, not exactly the same, but if we go down to the 1-hour time frame chart, then maybe you would be able to draw this trend line. Okay, you can see that you have first rejection, then you have second rejection, then you have third rejection, and then finally you are seeing a move towards upside. And price is already now at the 4-hour resistance level, which means that USDT dominance can go down from here, because USDT dominance is now at resistance. If you look at the dynamic lines, let's talk about the dynamic lines also. If you look at the dynamic lines, you have quarterly VWAP, you have 1 day 12 period exponential moving average. This is, by the way, last day of April, but you have price hitting into the point of control for the month of March. You have TVEM band, you have MTF 200 EMA, and then you have 4-hour resistance level. So, you have a lot many resistance levels, not just in terms of this horizontal resistance, but at the same time, you have all of these different dynamic levels also that are acting as a strong resistance level on the USDT dominance chart, which means that USDT dominance right now is at resistance, which means Bitcoin could be bouncing off around these levels anytime if if the equity market won't close a 4-hour candle below this low, if ES won't close a 4-hour candle below this low, because if we start losing this level, then ES would eventually go back down to at least 5350 level, which could be really bad for the Bitcoin chart as well. But anyways, let's go back to the USDT dominance chart. It has been consolidating in this range for quite some time. Last week, we had a massive drop down to this level. That was also because of this upward forming trend line. And now we have a downward forming trend line. We continue to consolidate in this spot. Why exactly the bounce happened? Not only because of this 4-hour support level, but also we have this purple line, which is 1 day 200 period exponential moving average. A lot many of you already would be using this 1 day 200 period exponential moving average. That's a very important moving average. But at the same time, price right now is sitting at 1 day 12 period MTF 200 EMA, TVEM band, point of control for the month of March, and then you have this 4-hour quarterly VWAP as well, right? Which means that it's not going to be easy for USDT dominance to break back above these levels. It's going to be a big challenge. It's not really going to be easy. But if we start reclaiming this level, if we start reclaiming this support level, sorry, which is, this is a resistance level at this point. If we start reclaiming this level, then, it's going to be a big thing. Then we would eventually go back up to this level. But the overall trend on the USDT dominance chart is bearish. The overall trend on the Bitcoin chart, it's positive, it's bullish. So I don't really think that we can have a move all the way up to at least 5.54%. That's going to be a really big thing, especially considering the fact that we are sitting at so many resistance levels right now. We are sitting at 4-hour resistance, 1 day 12 period exponential moving average, 4-hour quarterly VWAP, TVEM band, and MTF 200 EMA. By the way, all of you who requested TVEM band, DMing me on Twitter or over Discord, I already have given you the script. But you still, if you still don't have access to the script, all you have to do is simply just join the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. Open a support ticket, request access to TVEM band script, and the support staff, they would provide you access to the script, right? This is the only way to apply this indicator on your chart. It's a very useful indicator. You would find it really useful. Same is the case with the other indicators. For example, quarterly ELD VWAP. These are non-anchored ones. And then finally, 1 day 12 period exponential moving average also. This is not a traditional moving average indicator. This is the visualization of higher time frame, higher period moving averages on the smaller time frame charts. So it's really, really useful, right? But anyways, I always say this thing that it's not only important to understand what's happening in the market, but also it is equally important to understand the context of it, right? One context is in the form of fundamentals. All of these things are happening because of the fundamentals. Markets obviously reacted. The equity market reacted. The crypto market also reacted. Bitcoin reacted because we had the negative GDP print first time after 2022, and we had a big miss on this. So it's a really important thing, right? But at the same time, if you look at the Bitcoin chart, we had a drop below an upward forming trend line. If you take a look at the USDT dominance chart, we had a break above the downward forming trend line. But for now, nothing much to say on this. We are sitting between two very tight levels. One is down below this support level, which is in the form of 4-hour support, and 1 day 200 period exponential moving average, which is this purple line right here. But now we are sitting at this resistance. We had a break above the trend line. This is exactly why I am emphasizing on the importance of trend line all the time, right? That this is exactly why trend lines really are so important, because only if you have all of these trend lines drawn on your chart, you would be able to catch the breakouts, right? For example, in this case, this trend line was clearly telling you, or this downward forming trend line, this is what exactly updated in my channel also, this downward forming trend line was exactly telling you that price sooner or later is about to drop massively below this trend line, and it's going to be an impulsive break below the trend line, and then it would eventually fall back into this higher time frame support level, which is exactly what happened, right? But what the trendline entry model next says that price, by the way, has not perfectly tapped this higher time frame support, but we know that both of these charts, they kind of are synchronized with each other, not perfectly, but they are still synchronized with each other, which means that if one has not reached the support but the other one has reached the resistance, there is a possibility that USDT dominance may start reacting to it. Okay, same is the case with Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin, since let's imagine that price goes down a little bit, retest this support, then it goes back up, then the trendline entry model says that price would go back down to this higher time frame support. Okay, it would give a nice retest at this higher time frame support, then it would go back up, give a bearish retest at the trend line, and that's where you're going to see another drop in price. So you have a bullish retest at this higher time frame support, but at the same time, you have a bearish retest which would be happening at this trend line right here. Same was the case with this trend line also. You can see that same was the case with this trend line also. You can see that I don't know how many times during these live streams I have given you examples about these trend line entry models, how many times I have explained how these trend lines actually work. The very same way, if it's a downward forming trend line, price would break above. If it's an upward forming trend line, price would break below. This is what exactly you are seeing happen on the Bitcoin and the USDT dominance chart. So USDT dominance, you need to be very careful because right now we are sitting at resistance. Do not open any random short positions right now, because once we see market stabilizing a little bit, there are no signs of any kind of stable move in in the traditional markets, because stock market is literally just going down. You have a massive 4-hour candle and just continues to go down, and same is the case with Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin has been going down, but we have we are just continuing to tap this higher time frame support. So it's going to be really important to see that how things unfold, how exactly things unfold here, because 1 day 12 period exponential moving average, this is a very important dynamic line. So once the retest of 1 day 12 period exponential moving average happens, that really is going to define what would be happening in the next few days, because once we start losing this level, we can easily go back down to 88,000, and then we can go back down to 81,000. So all these three levels you have to take into account. The first one is at 92.5k, second one is an 88k, there is a small support at 85k, and then the next level is at 81.5k, right? So you always need to trade level by level, and you always need to take into account the charts that are correlated with each other. For example, take a look at the USDT dominance chart. People were saying that Bitcoin has next resistance at 97k. Why exactly price is getting rejected at 95k? The reason you cannot find out on the Bitcoin chart, the reason you would be able to find out on the USDT dominance chart, USDT dominance was bouncing off the support level, right? And this is exactly why Bitcoin was dropping in price around 95k, or it was facing resistance around 95k, because USDT dominance was sitting at this support level. Nothing really is going to happen for as long as price is continuing to trade in between these two levels. Things would change once once USDT dominance starts losing this level. Ideally speaking, it should do that, because it's a strong downtrend. We can, by the way, go back up at least up to 61.8% fib level. If it's a strong downtrend, then we can always draw the fib levels, and we can see that we still have a wick, we still have room to go at least up to, or wick up to 61.8% or 65% fib level. If we just wick up to these levels, this would also just be considered as a a deviation above the level, or simply just a wick into the level, and it's not going to be considered as a reclaim of this level. Same is the case with Bitcoin. If that happens, then Bitcoin has every possibility of wicking at least down to maybe 90,600, or maybe down to 91,500. But right now, I would suggest waiting a little bit. Right now, things are not looking good, not even in the traditional market, not even in the crypto market, right? You can also draw, one way that you can take a look at these waves, whenever price is moving, in a strong downtrend or uptrend, you can always draw the fib level. Another way that you can take a look at price is simply just by looking at the volume profiles, okay, just to measure the precise levels. In this case, I don't really think that volume profile is going to help much. Yes, this is the case. Since a lot of volume is concentrated in this region around 5.04%, so I don't really think that I don't really think that price really is going to react to it. Many people would like to take a look at the fair value gaps as well. We have a huge fair value gap on the USDT dominance chart somewhere around there. Price in most of these cases would simply just go back up, fill out all of these gaps, not completely, but it would simply just go back up to the 50% of these fair value gaps. And this level is now perfectly aligned with, and this is what you need to do. You can never really know which level is going to be the level where price reacts. It could be fib level, it could be volume, it could be volume point of control, it could be any other dynamic level, it could be any other correlated chart, it could be any other any other tool which is being used for technical analysis. But one thing that you can do is you can take a look at the correlated charts. You can take a look at the regions where there are most number of confluences, and based on that you can find, you can reach a conclusion. So in this case, you can see that this 61%, 65% fib level, that's where usually the reactions happen, is perfectly aligned with the 50% of this huge fair value gap, which is present right here on the USDT dominance chart. And this fair value gap has not been tapped as of yet, right? This has not been mitigated, which means that there is every possibility that price may at least go back up to 5.25% level, which roughly translates into a move of 5.25, which roughly translates into a move of 1.52%. And if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, although this is not really going to be precise, but 1.52% would basically mean a wick down to at least 91,800, okay? A level which is perfectly aligned with 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and this 4-hour quarterly VWAP. So there is every possibility that price may at least go back down to 90,600. And this is what the trendline entry model also says, that price would go back down to some higher time frame support, and that's where you're going to see some kind of bullish retest if this is a strong uptrend, and then you would see the continuation of that move. So I really think that 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, which is around 91,900, 92,000, the retest of this is definitely pending from a long time. Ever since we had this massive move towards upside, we have been trading above, by the way, 1-day 12-period exponential moving average since 11th of April. Since 11th of April, when we had this break above, we had the first retest, we had the second retest. So there is a possibility that we may see another retest of 1-day 12-period exponential moving average on the Bitcoin chart. On the USDT dominance chart, we are already seeing the retest of 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. But right now we are exactly sitting at the 4-hour quarterly VWAP, 1-day 12-period, the point of control for the month of March, TVEM band, this purple line, which is MTF 200 EMA. So there is a lot of resistance for USDT dominance to cover from this point onwards, and this is exactly what I'm telling you. You need not to be fearful right now. The overall market trend still looks positive for Bitcoin. The overall market trend still looks negative for USDT dominance. We have a lot of resistance levels to go past. So this is not going to be an easy going for USDT dominance. So be rest assured that you are definitely going to see some kind of reaction in between 91,000, 90,000, all the way up to 92,500, which means if you have any long positions, you need to be slightly careful about the entry points, but you need not to be afraid about it, right? One thing you need to always take a look at is, what exactly is happening in the altcoin market. But before I take a look at the others.d chart or the total 2 chart, first take a look at the Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, I clearly mentioned this thing in my last Bitcoin dominance update yesterday as well, that whenever you draw this trend line, whenever you draw a downward forming trend line or the opposite of it, which is an upward forming trend line, you know that a breakout is coming. Sooner or later, a break towards upside, or sooner or later, a break towards downside is always going to happen. You just cannot avoid that. Okay, the best possible thing you can do is to trade in its direction, or you can simply just avoid trading the market altogether. So in this situation, there were clear signs that Bitcoin had to go down, Bitcoin dominance had to go up. Others.D was already sitting at resistance. This is the same thing that I mentioned in my last update as well, that others.D is sitting at resistance, and Bitcoin dominance is not only sitting on this 4-hour support, but at the same time it's also bouncing off 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and 4-hour quarterly VWAP. And this is why I'm telling you that these dynamic lines, these are my favorite indicators. They're working almost all the time. And looking at 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and 4-hour quarterly VWAP, you can already see that price has been bouncing off these levels, and you saw a massive break above this dynamic line. We know that if price on the Bitcoin chart starts going down and Bitcoin dominance starts going up, then this is literally a perfect recipe of disaster for the altcoin market, because they would be facing a double blow, because not only the price for Bitcoin is going down, but at the same time market capitalization for Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin dominance, is going up, which basically shows you that capital is flowing into Bitcoin despite the fact that price for Bitcoin is going down. So the altcoins, they would be facing a double blow. First, because of market being generally negative, price on the Bitcoin chart going down. First, because of this fact, and secondly, because of Bitcoin dominance, because not only, altcoins, they're suffering because of negative market conditions, because of the overall market being negative, but at the same time they would also be suffering because of capital flow or the capital outflow from the altcoin market and capital inflow into the Bitcoin at that moment, right? This is what exactly we are seeing happen in the market right now, that not only the price for Bitcoin went down, but at the same time Bitcoin dominance also made a massive move above this trend line. That's why you need to be slightly careful. I'm actually happy about it that Bitcoin dominance has been climbing up slowly. I really want Bitcoin dominance to at least go up to 70% once and for all. I want this story to completely end, because the most popular opinion in the market always has been that, looking at the historical data, the altcoin rally or the altcoin market always, altcoin rally always happens whenever Bitcoin dominance reaches up to 70% level, and then it starts dropping from that point onwards. That's when an altcoin rally or a major move in the altcoin market happens, right? So I'm really happy to see that Bitcoin dominance has been slowly climbing up. I really wanted to touch 70% level, so that at least we get to see if this opinion is true or not, or if whatever has happened back during the previous cycle is going to happen during this cycle or not. But for sure, this cycle is slightly different in comparison to the previous one. Somebody in the chat is saying long Bitcoin dominance. You can actually do that with the rest of these indices. For example, with USDT dominance, with total 2, with total 3, with total, you cannot really trade them. But with Bitcoin dominance, if you have access to Binance wherever you are living, you can actually trade the BTC dome symbol. This is a symbol for Bitcoin dominance. And by the way, this is only listed over Binance. I don't exactly know the reason why they have this symbol listed, but you can actually trade Bitcoin dominance, right? So if you can basically use it as a hedge. If you have too many long positions open on these altcoins, you can always open another long position on Bitcoin dominance, because in most of the cases, if the altcoin market goes down horribly, then Bitcoin dominance would be going up. That definitely is not going to happen 100% of the times, because there are times when Bitcoin dominance goes down along with Bitcoin, but that is when the altcoin market would be stable. I hope you guys already know about that. This cheat sheet somebody shared a few days ago in the Discord server also. It was a really good graphic showing that how the market reacts to Bitcoin dominance. So basically, if Bitcoin dominance goes up and the price for Bitcoin also goes up, then the altcoins, they would also be going up, right? Not too much, but they would definitely be showing some positive gains. But if Bitcoin dominance goes down and price on the Bitcoin chart starts going up, that's when an altcoin rally starts. That's when you're going to see a major pump. But once Bitcoin dominance goes up, but at the same time, Bitcoin price on the Bitcoin chart starts going down, that's when you are going to see a major blow to the altcoin or a dump in the altcoin market. And this is what exactly we are seeing happen right now. And then there is fourth case also, in which I guess Bitcoin dominance would be going down and price on the Bitcoin chart would also be going down. That's when you are going to see altcoins remain relatively stable, showing some negative gains, but remaining relatively stable, not going much in this situation. But you can pause this video, you can pause this stream, later on when you would be watching this, and you can simply just take notes for this. This is really important because a lot many times people are wondering that even though they have good analysis, even if they have done good analysis on any of these charts, why exactly the market is not reacting to their analysis. 𝗍𝘁𝗍𝗃 is saying, I was joking, Sherlock. No, no, I'm being serious. You can actually trade Bitcoin dominance, okay, but only on Binance, which really, serves as a good hedge if you have like too many positions open. Because in most of the cases, if price impulsively goes down on most of these altcoins, then it would be the case when not only the price for Bitcoin is going down, but at the same time, Bitcoin dominance is, also going up. And that's when having a hedge long position open on Bitcoin dominance is definitely going to benefit you. So having long positions on rest of these altcoins and then having long position on Bitcoin dominance is going to cover the losses for it, right? Okay, let's take a look at the 𝗍𝘃𝗲 chart also. I am really disappointed to see 𝗍𝘃𝗲, going down like this. Obviously, price, was never really gonna, react to this trend line because we still have 3 rejections at the trend line. So it's a matter of time. Definitely, at some point in time, price would be reacting to it, but we are still, staying below this trend line. But if we just completely ignore this trend line, okay, price was always sitting at the resistance level. We opened 2 long positions, but I gave an exclusive risk warning with both of these long positions that 𝗍𝘃𝗲, I have been constantly warning about this on my, Twitter account as well. Constantly updating about 𝗍𝘃𝗲 as well, constantly asking people not to open any long positions randomly because 𝗍𝘃𝗲 is literally sitting at the resistance level. You have the first rejection, then you had the second rejection, then you had the third massive rejection. But the good thing is that now we are going back down to this higher time frame support. So there are chances that we may still see a bounce happening around here, right? If we look at the dynamic lines, we are breaking below 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and 4-hour quarterly VWAP. We were getting rejected at the MTF 200 EMA and 4-hour yearly VWAP and TVEM band. This is why TVEM band, this is, this purple line right here is the TVEM band. This is exactly why TVEM band is so important. It's such a powerful indicator because you can see that how beautifully price is reacting to the TVEM band. Once again, if you would like to have access to the TVEM band, you can join the Discord server, open a ticket in the Discord server, and you would be provided access to the script of TVEM band. But on the others.d chart, things were not looking good. There was a lot of uncertainty because others.d, I've been constantly saying that others.d is still at the resistance level. So if the nothing really is going to change for as long as others.d is sitting below this resistance level, right? Things would start changing once others.d is able to break above this level, is able to reclaim this level and move back up to this level right here. But the good part is that we already have seen the massive drop. So most likely we are going to see a retest of this level, a retest of maybe, this level right here. We are already bouncing off some levels. Price already has bounced off massively from 93,000 all the way up to 93,800, which is a good thing. Now we are seeing some kind of positive reaction. We are seeing some kind of positive reaction in ES also. But this 4-hour close right here wasn't a good thing. And you can see that now we are going to retest this level. And if we have a bearish retest around here, then there are chances that we may once again go back down to this level right here, on ES chart, right? At the same time, you can see that why exactly this bounce is happening. This bounce is happening off 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. A lot many people always inquire me about this, that do these indicators work the same way with the rest of these charts? For example, the chart for commodities, equities, any other financial assets charts. Yes, they work the same way because at the end of the day, it's just a chart, right? And they should be working the same way. So you can see that Bitcoin just had a bounce off this level, but USDT dominance had a wick into this resistance level. We just wicked into the 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, 4-hour quarterly VWAP, TVEM band, point of control, and the yearly VWAP. So let's hope that, quarterly VWAP. So let's hope that USDT dominance after this retest continues to go down so we can profit off our long positions. But this still is not the best time to open any long position, because the markets just opened almost an hour ago, almost 55 minutes ago, so you would be seeing a reaction after some time in the market. By the way, SCRT, this one is still on the entry point. If you have not entered into the position, you can still do that because it's looking good in my opinion. And ENA, this one is also coming back to the entry point. It was down a little bit, went down almost like 2%, 3%. I would keep this one open because it's a good idea. It went down almost 4%, 4.7%, but it's a good idea to keep one short position open because we don't know what exactly is going to happen in the market in the next minute. There could be another statement from Trump, from his administration. A lot many developments are happening. There is a lot of important data to be released. Soon after the stock markets close today, we have Meta and Microsoft reporting their earnings. So it's definitely going to be an interesting week. But in the in the crypto market, you can see that others.d is already sitting at the support level. It should be bouncing off this level and go back up to this level right here. Bitcoin just gave a retest at this level, but there is still a possibility that we may just have a slow bleed down to this level. It really depends on the equity market. If we, now that we have closed a 4-hour candle below, if we just continue to go down after a bearish retest around here, then definitely the crypto market, it's definitely going to follow, and it's not going to be a good thing, right? Now over to you guys. If you have any questions, any chart requests, please make sure to drop in the chat box. That SCR long is cooking badly. SCR long is literally at the entry point. SCR long is at the entry point. If you have not taken this long position, by the way, you can do that. And 60 plus people are watching the live stream and only 25 of you have liked it. So I would really appreciate, that's not going to take much time. I would really appreciate if you are able to like the live stream. By the way, this coin called 𝗨𝗚𝗃𝗃𝗚, this coin just got delisted of all the mainstream exchanges, of all the tier 1 exchanges. So there is no point looking at the chart. Has been a lot of manipulation going on in the market during the past few days. So a lot many of these exchanges are delisting, are regularly delisting these coins in which this manipulation was happening. Most of these coins that were having these pumps and dumps. You're looking for more short positions? Not exactly. I'm not really looking for more short positions. I have been looking at ENA. If you look at my alerts tab, I had one short position on ENA that I was looking at. The second one was on Flux that I was looking at. Let me show you what was it short position. This short position. So Flux created this deviation above the support, above the resistance level. So I was looking at this short position at this retest, placing stops above this level. You can see that it already went down almost 5%. So I've been looking at Flux for one short position, and then Zeta also. This one also I've been looking at. So this one is looking slightly strong, but Flux, Zeta, Drift, I'm looking for a long position. Maybe enter at the time of retest around here. The breakout was happening when I spotted this just this morning, but I was not able to get into the position. The breakout happened immediately. So yeah, there are a few short positions I'm looking at. All of my these alerts in the alerts tab, they're mostly for short positions. So I am actually interested in shorting a few coins. It's not going to be a bad idea in my opinion. Do you risk the same amount in every trade? No, it really depends on the stop loss, because recently I have introduced a system in the Discord server. I made an announcement that in order to help people with the position sizing, because most of the times when we enter into a market order position, you don't get enough time to do the proper position sizing, because if you go by the rules, then you should calculate your position size as per the stop loss percentage, right? This is how you do the proper risk management. But sometimes people don't get enough time to do the position sizing. You can use an online calculator, but it would take you 3-4 minutes to do that, right? So in order to save some time, in order to help people do the position sizing, I actually mentioned this thing that I would only be sharing the positions for which stop loss is at 5% or around 5%, right? If you take into account DCA. obviously the stop loss, it never really should be, or the invalidation point, it never really should be an arbitrary number. You cannot say that I would always have a 5% stop loss for every position. But one thing you can do is that, in order to help people, in order to help your audience, you can say that, okay, I would only choose positions that have at maximum a 5% invalidation point, so that they could have a same position size for every single trade. Traditionally speaking, if you go by the rules, then that definitely is not a good idea, because you should have a different position size for every single trade, because it really depends on the stop loss percentage, right? But once you have the fixed stop loss percentage, you can always have the same position size. You can always go into any of these calculators, say that, okay, my stop loss percentage is 5%, and then you can have a fixed position size for any of these trades, right? Which in my opinion is a good idea. Right now, would you long or short? We already have two long positions open. One is on BAT, one is on SCR. Right now, I'm definitely not going to do anything, right? Right now, I would simply just go on with these two positions. ENA is looking good, but it simply just is there to de-risk any drawdown that we may face on SCR and BAT. SCR is looking good. SCR is in top gainers also. SCR is looking good. You can see that it just recovered massively immediately. So SCR, I'm really hopeful that it can give us almost a 17%, 18% move quite easily. So if you did not get into the SCR position, long position, you can just do that straight away. You can enter at the market price, and we are targeting at least 0.39 region, right? BAT is already BAT is also back at the this support level. So if you did not enter into BAT long position, you would get a much better risk to reward ratio in comparison to me, at least. But BAT is looking slightly risky because it has this upward forming trend line also, but not so sure, because at the same time it has this downward forming trend line as well, right? So I would bet that, okay, price on the BAT chart goes up, breaks above this upward downward forming trend line. But once again, we are back at this support. Even if you don't get even if you don't get to have massive gains in BAT, at least you can play this up to this level right here, which is 3% up, for a small scalp, because this is our entry point. A DCA has not been tagged as of yet. I guess this is our DCA for BAT, but this position is still running, so you can enter into this position, right? So no longs, possible shorts. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, because it really depends on what the market is offering us. The market conditions, they are ever evolving, they're always changing. I just explained to you in the very beginning also that there are a lot of developments happening in terms of important news events, in terms of important economic events, in terms of important statements being made by the Trump administration, by the rest of the world. There have been few conflicts going on. So yeah, it's definitely not a good idea to have a bias for a long time. But if you would ask me, I'm 70% bullish, only 30% bearish. I still am in favor of long positions. I still believe that price on all of these charts should be going up. This is what we are seeing happen in the market as well. You can see that how quick this buyback was. We just bounced at this level, and this was also not exactly, but we have two equal lows also. So if this 4-hour candle closes like this, then there is a heavy possibility that we may at least go up to 96,000. Same is the case with USDT dominance. USDT dominance has a huge wick up to this level. So I really hope, let's pray together, that USDT dominance dies here, USDT dominance goes down here. Because if you look at this trend line, it already had a break above, but there is another small trend line on the 1-hour time frame chart of USDT dominance. So let's hope that USDT dominance just breaks below this trend line and goes back down to at least 4.98% level. Bro literally said amen. Amen. Okay, let's all say amen for USDT dominance going down, for USDT dominance dying here, because we have two long positions open. But anyways, SCR, once again, it's looking good in my opinion. BAT also, you can enter at the market price. BAT is not looking bad either. ENA short position is open. This one is slightly below the entry. So let's just keep this short position open, so that if there is any situation or drawdown, we are able to get out of that. Okay. Please answer my question before you log off. I've been risking 2% in every trade, regardless what you rate the setup. Is that bad? No, it's not bad, because 90% of my setups, they are rated at 6%, 7%. Recently, I've not been able to find setups rated at 9%, 10%. So yeah, it's not a bad idea. Sometimes we had, the success rate for the higher rated setups, it's generally good. But I remember that, just last, no, in the month of March, we had this setup on Dodge. It was rated 10 out of 10. It was a really good setup, I'm telling you. But that one failed. That one, ended up hitting the stop loss back on 2nd of April or 1st of April. I guess it was 27th of March. I don't exactly remember. But that one ended up hitting the stop loss. So, at the end of the day, markets, they're all about possibilities. Sorry, they're all about probabilities. They're all about possibilities. They are not a game. It's not a game of certainties, and you need to treat the markets in the same manner. So I would say that if you are risking 2% for every trade, regardless of what the rating is, you are not doing a bad job, and you should simply just continue doing that. Set limits for ENA. Yes, you can do that. You can set limits for ENA. It's still a hedge for us against all of these too long positions that we have, right? Anything could be changing. Please do not just be excited as of yet, because for as long as, in my opinion, ES is sitting below this level, then nothing really is going to change. Yeah, it bounced off the very next day. So, our execution on Dodge back in March, it wasn't really good, right? But that was just one trade we had. Back in the month of April, we just had one stop loss. Even with the fact that I was on vacations during the month of April, for half of the month of April, for 15 days, I still managed to share almost 25 good setups. Only one of them ended up hitting the stop loss. So yeah, the month of April, it was a really good month. I hope you guys enjoyed the trades during the month of April. If you're not in the Discord server, you can always join it. Make sure to follow me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘍𝗶𝗵𝗁. This is my Twitter handle. Make sure to join the Discord server to receive all of these market updates, calls, everything. It's in the Discord server. Link you can find in the description of this video, right? The gains were crazy during the month of April, especially considering the fact that I was on vacations for half of the month. So yeah, the gains were definitely crazy. No longs before USDT consolidation. I don't really think it would be a good idea to open any random positions right now. We, especially considering that we already have 3 positions open. And by the way, for those of you who are watching the stream, for those of you who are not even in the Discord server, you can open any of these positions. ENA is literally at the entry point. SCR is literally at the entry point. BAT is down from the entry point, which means you can open a long position on BAT. And place DCA, place stop loss. You're going to get a much better entry in comparison to most of us. So yeah, I don't see any reason to open any other random positions. How do you think is the best way to get the same price entries as you? I usually give a heads up, during the times when I'm about to share the setup. So yeah, it would be a good idea to just keep an eye on the channel, because you guys know trading is not easy. A lot many times breakouts are happening. A lot many breakouts have been happening during the past few weeks, 2-3 weeks. Markets were reacting positively. So in every single trade of mine, it was a breakout trade. But usually whenever it's possible, I try to give a limit order as well. For example, ENA immediately went down. It was a breakout trade. ENA is a $2 billion market cap coin. I definitely cannot move it, but it immediately went down 5%, 6%. As soon as I shared the entry. Once again, the reason is same. Because the markets have been really volatile because of news events and everything. So it's a good idea to just keep an eye, on the channel, and just keep an eye on the notifications, updates, and everything. What are your typical TP percentages? I have said this thing previously as well, that it's not a good idea to take profits at arbitrary numbers, arbitrary percentage numbers. A lot many people have said that Sherlock takes TP usually around 6%, 7%. That's not true. I usually have taken TPs in the past at 17, 18% as well. First TPs at 17, 18% as well, because it really depends on the market conditions. For example, if you can see that this is where the let's suppose this is where the next support for ENA is, then I would take my first TP at 0.2933. Okay, because ENA has chances of bouncing off around here. So, the point is safe. You, take your TPs, and this is exactly why I don't share my targets, at the time when I share the trade, because, these targets, they are based on the real time market conditions. If I see that market is really going in my favor, then I would let that position run instead of taking any aggressive target, instead of taking any aggressive TPs off that position. But if I see that market has been, consolidating and things are not looking good, storage was an example of the coin that I had back on. This was That's where we entered into the storage coin. It went up almost 9% in one or two candles. Then it stopped us break even, which was a good idea to get out of that position after first TP, because the market conditions change absurdly. The very next day it was Monday, so in order to avoid manipulation, getting into manipulation on Monday, we simply just had to close that trade after first TP. It stopped out break even. So the point is that you have to just be careful about it. Please show us how to find breakouts. It's not super difficult. It's quite easy. For example, SCR, I you would draw this resistance level. I noticed that SCR made a huge candle above this level, made another 4-hour candle above this level. So I quickly jumped into this long position in order to catch the move. But breakouts, they are not always going to benefit you. Remember this thing, breakouts are only favorable when the overall market is going, in one direction. For example, past 2 to 3 weeks, the breakouts, they were the most favorable kind of trades, right? Breakout strategy was the most favorable kind of strategy, trading strategy. The reason was very simple, because the rest of the market was going up, and literally every single coin was breaking above the trend line, right? So, others.d, it had a massive break above the trend line. So I was randomly going into long positions as soon as I saw a breakout happen. But this definitely is not going to work always. So you need to be careful. For example, this was a case for 𝗏. We entered into an 𝗏 position somewhere around here. We entered into a long position on 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝑏𝑡 as well. We were able to catch a 40% move. So it really depends on the market conditions. I'm not a big fan of trading the breakouts, because there is no way that you can differentiate a breakout from a fake out. I have said this thing. I explain this while I teach my students also in my mentorship, that the breakouts, fake outs, deviations, you have to be able to differentiate between them. But the only way that you can do that is by looking at the consolidation. If there is no consolidation, there is no way for you to know if this breakout is genuine or not. And this is why I generally avoid trading breakouts, and I try to trade the retests, right? But there are times when the market conditions, they won't allow you to trade the retest, right? So sometimes the retest may not even happen altogether, and these are the times when you would have to just change the strategy a little bit, and start taking the breakout trades as well. This is what exactly I did in the past 2-3 weeks as well, especially during the month of April. Someone asked for this, how to identify breakouts. Yeah, I already have explained this. How come we are getting many trades in May? How do you already know this thing now? No, I don't really know, that if we are going to have 40 plus setups. I obviously don't know this thing for sure. The only reason why I said in the Discord server that we are going to have 40 plus setups in the month of May is because I would be trying my best, right? So there are months, when you go lazy, when you go slow, you say that, okay, one trade is enough. Okay, I already had 5-6 trades in 1 week. That's more than enough. Let's just wait a little bit. But there are times when you feel more positive, when you feel like you know more about the market, when you feel like you are more confident about the market conditions, when you feel like you are able to judge the market conditions in a right manner. That's when you feel more confident. And on the basis of confidence that I'm feeling right now, I said that in the month of May, we're definitely going to have far more setups in comparison to the previous months, because I would be trying my best. Okay, I was looking at the data for the month of April. Just for 15 days, I was able to share 25 plus setups, because we were literally trading non-stop during the month of April, and we were hitting winners non-stop. HNT was the only losing trades, and apart from that, we had all the winners during the month of April. So looking at that data, I said that we are going to have, yeah, exactly. I feel much more confident, much more recharged in comparison to the previous months. The reason is very obvious. I just came back from vacation, so I'm definitely feeling more energetic, more positive, more confident, and I just want to give all of that back to you guys as well. Okay, I want you guys to feel that energy, in my trades also, and this is why I said that we are going to have good number of trades in the month of May, and I would definitely try my best, to make that happen. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining in. It's been almost 1 hour 15 minutes since we started the stream. Once again, please do not forget to like this live stream. Please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure that you are following me over my Twitter account, 𝗟𝘅𝗻𝗏. This is my Twitter handle. Make sure that you have joined the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video and in the chat box also. Mohsen just shared the link in the chat box. So yeah, please make sure to join the Discord server. And if you're looking for a special discount, we may give you a special discount just for those people who are watching this live stream. All right. So take care and have a great week ahead. Thank you so much for joining. Take care. Bye bye.